how well the leopard's camouflage is working. There is Queen Karula, and just off to her left, feeding on the remnants of what I heard was a duiker carcass, is a young Hosana by the looks of things, or was it Xongile? Quite difficult to make out through the thicket. And then if I move backwards a little bit, in quite a precarious spot, one would think, we've got the third member. I can't really see who it is. I think this is little Xongile, but she's looking quite comfy up in the top of this. No, I think, is that Hosana or was that Xongile? Let's have a look. There's a face looking up there. There we go. Who is that? I think that's little Xongile. What a wonderful little leopard. Yes, and as Stef said, I've been away for the week. I got back last night. And what a wonderful way to be back to. Leopard sightings all over the place. Well, a huge Safari Live welcome to Mia, who's a new viewer who says this is the first time she's ever seen a leopard. Well, I'm very happy to share this experience with you, Mia. Let's see if we can get a better look at that beautiful face. It's a good spot there because she's lying on the eastern side of the tree, which means she's in the shade, so she doesn't have to worry about the hot sun. Let's have a look. There we go. No, and one, and you can see it's quite windy this afternoon. Now that looks like a comfy spot. Mia, if you were a leopard, I'm sure you would be comfortable having a snooze up there. What are you chewing on? A stick. Just because. Excuse me. Now, hello Rihanna, who's 5 years old, and Rihanna would like to know, why do leopards climb trees? Well, in this specific situation, Rihanna, I would say because it's nice and shady up there, and also a little bit of height gives her protection from nasty biting flies. Another reason a leopard would climb a tree is to put meat in the tree so the hyenas and lions can't steal it from them. You can see she's quite high up. I'd probably say from where we are, probably 5-6 meters, which is about 14 foot or so. Tucked her head away, you can just see one little ear there. Now, this tree is quite, we've seen something else in this tree, and it was the sighting we've ever had of a broad-billed roller was in this tree. So it is quite amazing that the longer you spend in an area, oh sorry, this is caught on something, there we go. The longer you spend in an area, the more sort of things start you seeing multiple things in the same trees. Or I think, if I remember far enough back, I think I've even seen Karula, her mom, in this tree. She had a duiker kill here nearly 2 years ago. It's amazing that you could still remember. One would think that the amount of time we spend out here, that a lot of the sightings would blend into each other. But I must say, I'm very, very fond of these two little cubs, having found them when they were mere hours old. And I mean, oof, it's getting close to their actual year-old birthday. So on the 2nd of February, these little cubs will be 1 year old. Well, Graham's wondering, apart from impala and nyala, have these leopards eaten any other antelopes? Well, these particular leopards, and Karula seems to be, probably kills more duiker and steenbok than anything else over a year. Or did it fall? Oh, my microphone fell through. Oh dear. As I said, they've eaten quite a few steenbok and duiker. What else have we seen Karula on? I've seen her on baby kudu. I'm trying to think what other antelope I've seen Karula eat. Impala, Nyala, Steenbok, Impala, Nyala, Steenbok, Duiker, kudu. Have I seen Karula on a baby wildebeest? No, I have not. Pushbuck, of course, another antelope we've seen Karula and the cubs eat. So they do have a very varied diet. One must remember they're also going to eat squirrels and dwarf mongoose and the occasional tortoise. What else were there? Lizards, giant plated lizards, monitor lizards, birds like guinea fowl and franklin. So leopards have a very varied diet, and that's what makes them quite successful. Well, let's move around a bit, see if we can get a view of Hosana on the carcass. See if we can navigate our way through the bush here. I'll try not lose Dave. Now, isn't that incredible? If we just look from here quickly on our way there, you can just see how well that camouflage works. And there's 2 leopards there. Okay. But they do have incredible camouflage, and they do manage to get very comfortable in some very strange positions. And Marcy's just commenting, she doesn't know how they sleep so comfortably in trees. It is incredible, Marcy, but they've evolved to do that. I'm just trying to see if we can get a view. He's just in quite a thick area, and you can see tacks in there in the background. Let's just go a bit further forward. How's that, Dave? A little bit back. There we go. There we go. So we've fortunately found a little window through the thicket there. And of course, greedy guts Hosana is being a little piggy. No, I'm just trying to see. We can't really see the fur, but I do believe tailored. He's probably a duiker. It doesn't look like there's too much left. And with cubs of this age, Karula's going to have to hunt almost continuously to keep them sated. Now, even while she's off hunting, they will kill small things on their own. Yum, yum, yum. So we're going to wait. Hopefully they're going to move out into a bit more of an open area while we sit tight with the royals. Let's go to Byron, who's made it all the way down to the east.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Byron, and on camera with me this afternoon is Craig. Now, we have just come down to Cheetah Plains. Now, I'm in search of a big male leopard that had a kudu kill this morning. So that's what I'd like to look for, and I'm very excited because it's a leopard I haven't seen yet. Apparently it is the quarantine male, so looking forward to seeing him. Hopefully he's still in the area. And I don't think we're too far from that spot, so I'm going to be having a careful look and making sure that we don't miss him. And it looks like, it's a lovely afternoon. It's nice and cool. It's not too hot, but there's some serious clouds building up around us at the moment. But we'll see. I'm not sure if we're going to get rain. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that it holds off until the end of the drive. And then who knows. I can't believe how thick the bush is here at the moment. I haven't been onto Cheetah Plains for quite some time. But it is very, very thick. I'm just trying to... look at that beautiful bird sitting on the stump. There we go. And I'm sure most of you know what that is. That is a European roller. Wonderful European roller. And I think also because it's so windy and because of the threat of rain, I don't think the birds will be as active, probably sitting down, not flying around as much. It's always wonderful to see these beautiful, colorful birds. Actually, it looks as if that European roller got a little bit wet already. Oh, feathers look a bit scruffy. Oh, puffed out, so I wonder if it didn't get a bit wet. It might just be resting on that perch for a while. Alright, and there was a spider hunting wasp flying around too, but it looks like... excuse me a second, I think someone's looking for an update. Good afternoon, Mike, it's Byron here. I'm going to be heading towards that position. I'll keep you updated, I'm almost there. Afternoon, Mike. I'm going to head to that position and just have a look if that animal is around. I'll keep you updated. So I'm just trying to get in touch with some of the other guides. Also looking for that male leopard. Alright, so I'm going to go see if I can find him. I'm almost in that area. While I look around, though, let's head back to Stef, who's walking around.
What you're looking at over there is a pale yellow flower from a plant called the Cedar cordifolia, one of my favorite plants out here. And I like it because when I was busy doing a study of an old friend of mine's ethnobotanical knowledge, his plant knowledge, his traditional plant knowledge, he used to walk around and collect these leaves for his wife. And the reason why he did it was because they had a brand new baby. And these leaves are used as a wet wipe for the babies. Hypoallergenic, softly furry, and occurring in much numbers out here. It's just such a fantastic plant, and whenever I pick it, I have these fond memories of James. And you can see that softly furry leaf there. And it's got a very fine, velvety, silky feel. That is how the leaf is. And he used to pick a few, roll them up, put them into his pocket, and that is what he did. Now I just like to collect them for nostalgia sakes and for rubbing on my lips. Just very, very nice. So the name of this particular plant again, Cedar cordifolia, and apart from being a wet wipe for babies traditionally by the local Shangans, the plant itself produces quite a nice cordage. So what you can do is you can take a young shoot like this and you dry it out. There we go, I'll break it a little bit, but the bark splits out quite nicely, and they then wrap it into a type of cordage when the plant gets a little bit bigger, of course. So Cedar cordifolia, used for cordage and wet wipes, and it just looks nice. Don't you just like that flower? Very, very awesome. Now, it is a good time of year. January, I think I've said this once or twice on the walks that we've been on. My favorite time of the year is May and January, and the reason why I like January, because it really just is, there's such a profusion of life. This year is slightly different. To be honest with you, in a normal wet or a time of year with normal rainfall, a time of year with normal rainfall, the grass would be about knee high where we are right now, and so thick that you wouldn't be able to walk with your legs swishing past one another. You'd have to walk with your legs up and over one another. But in this particular year, because of the fact that there's just been so little rain last year, it's still relatively open, and you get these big open patches. And one unique thing of this year, something that we haven't seen for such a long time, is the fact that there are no golden orb web spiders. Last year I saw 2 golden orb web spiders the whole of summer. Hello. Didn't realize this was here. I only saw 2 golden orb-web spiders the whole of the summer season. This year I haven't even seen one. And remarkable in that last year there was no insects. That has obviously had a very big impact on golden orb-web spiders' egg-laying ability. And in this particular area, I would say that they are almost locally extinct, which is an issue. Not too much of a problem for spiders though, because spiders, of course, balloon. So a young spider will climb up onto a tall piece of grass and will let out a trail of silk, and as soon as the drag on that silk is big enough from the wind, it gets ripped off of the leaf that it's, or the branch it's standing on, and will float around in the wind many thousands of feet up into the air and for hundreds of thousands of kilometers. And that's how the spiders will come back here eventually. But it is going to be interesting to see how long that takes. What is the process of getting golden orb-web spiders recolonized? And I mean, to a point where in some Januaries when I've been here, you literally cannot drive through the bush. The spiders are one web over another over another. This year has none of that. Really is quite fascinating. This is the whiteberry bush. Now these make for quite good snacks while we're walking through the bush, and it gives me a chance to think about Zoe's question. Zoe has asked, are there any poisonous spiders while we walk around here in the bush? Zoe, there are actually there are 4 spiders of medicinal or medical importance. So when you say a spider has a medical importance to man, it means that it has some or other type of attribute that makes it bad for us. 3 of them are cytotoxic, meaning they break down the cell walls in our body and cause necrosis and much swelling and pain. 1 is neurotoxic. So we have the black widow spider, that's the neurotoxic one, and they you find all over the world. We then have the sack spider, the violin spider, and the 6-eyed desert crab spider. So we have all of those, with the most common envenomations occurring from the sack spider and the violin spider. So just 4 spiders. Out of the multitudes of spiders that we have here, just those 4 are of medical importance to man and ones that we look out for. The 6-eyed desert crab spider. Now I'm going to do something for you over here just before we send you away. Have a look here. This caught my eye as we were walking down here. These little guys are pretty much everywhere, and they are my absolute favorite. Jandre cannot see it. Let's see if you can see it on the end of this branch right here.
Just hold it still in the wind.
That is a saw-backed mantid. Saw-backed flower mantis. Let me turn him so that he can look at you. Isn't that just the most amazing creature you've ever seen in your life? Totally camouflaged as a piece of bird dropping or a flower. Don't look at me, big guy. Look at everyone watching you. Alright, just hold on one sec there. Let me see if I can just get him to look at you. Here we go. Those pointed eyes that they have are characteristic of the gargoyle mantids as a group. He is one of the smallest one, the saw-backed or saw-abdomened mantid. There you go, you can see you again. They have got the most expressive faces for an insect, don't you think? Pink and green and white. You can actually change colors. That toothed appearance to the margin is deliberate and is used to break up his profile, and is obviously a hunter of note, using their camouflage as deception to hunt for anything that would be on the stick. Flies, bees, wasps, worms, anything that this mantid could catch and kill, he would eat. Very, very, very awesome. All right, now, I just love the colors on these guys. Look how pink he is on his back. Sorry dude, I didn't mean to scare you with my bald head shining in the light there. Just look at that. He's a full grown one. You don't get them much bigger than this. So for those of you with your fingers on your screen grabs, that is a full grown saw-backed or saw-abdomened flower mantid. We should feed him some of the flies buzzing around my face right now. Wow, that's cool. All right. And from one predator onto another, Byron has something quite cool to show you.
Stef, I'm not sure if you were calling me the predator or the leopard, but I do indeed have something amazing to show all of you. Have a look at this. We've managed to just find this male leopard, and we just got to him a few minutes ago. He's lying in the shade of a bush. It is actually still quite warm, and I think he's also trying to avoid all the flies around. Isn't he magnificent? Now, as I said, I'm very excited. This is the first time I've seen this male. And I did see the big kudu that he managed to hunt earlier today, either this morning or last night, I think. It's incredible. It just shows you how opportunistic these leopards are and how they're able to go for just about anything and hunt large antelope as well as small antelope or small animals, from everything from fish and snakes all the way up to big antelope like kudu. You can see he's panting very, very hard there and very deeply, and the reason for that is because he's very hot and full. But he has got a lovely position under that little bush. I'm just having a look, and just to make sure I don't give you the wrong name of the bush, but that is the ivy grape. And I know some of you have seen it on the bush walk a few times. It has got little grapes that we can eat. Cissus cornifolia. But for the moment, it's being used as an umbrella for the leopard, or a shade cloth rather. Perfect little spot for him to hide it. But it just shows you again, the grass and the bush is very thick at the moment. Now, if you were driving very quickly past here, it would probably be quite difficult to spot this leopard in the long grass. Now, Amelia, you wanted to know which leopard this is. This is Quarantine male. Now, as I said, I haven't seen him before. I haven't seen Tingana for a few days. I'm not sure when last he was actually seen, but this is Quarantine. Have a look. He's standing up at the moment. He just got up. Wow, he is a beautiful big male. He's looking up into this marula next to him. Now, usually when a leopard does look up into the tree, it could mean that he or she is potentially thinking about going up, but I don't think this leopard will decide to go up into the tree now. I mean, it is very, very tall. Let's see, he's looking again. Very high to the first few branches that he may decide to lie on, but so I don't think he's going to go up there. Just changing position, exactly. See? But he's potentially having a look up to think about later if he would like to hoist that kudu. I think there's still a lot of meat left though, so I'm not sure if he would be able to hoist them. However, these male leopards are very, very powerful and very agile and strong. Just looking around to see if there's another tree that he could potentially put it into. It doesn't look like there's a substantial tree around at the moment. A lot of combretum trees or bush willow trees around, but they're not big enough to hold the carcass of a kudu or a leopard in it, that's for sure. Now, Cage, you wanted to know who is Quarantine's mother, and it is Karula, that beautiful female that we always see, or not always, but who we see quite regularly, and she is the mother of Quarantine. And Brent is with her at the moment. I think he's got both cubs there too. So there's a lot of leopard activity at the moment, which is incredible. It's really, really fantastic. So I'm sure if you stay tuned, you're probably going to get to see her a little bit later. You can see the female that is responsible for this beautiful, beautiful male that we're sitting with at the moment. And speaking of Karula, we were chatting about it yesterday too. She's been such a successful mother. I think we said that she's given birth or raised up to about 10 cubs already that have reached maturity. And we think that, I think we know the whereabouts of about 8 of them, which is quite impressive. So it's amazing to see the lineage that she has produced. And all these leopards that have done well. James Richard, you said I need to chat to Quarantine about his name, because yes, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm not a fan of the name. I think it's such an unfortunate name for a leopard. I don't know if any of you agree with me or don't agree with me. It's such a beautiful animal, and a name like Quarantine, for me, it just doesn't suit him. So I don't know, maybe amongst ourselves we can call him something else, but I'm not going to go down that road. I might upset the rest of the crew if I start changing names on my own, so I'm not going to even do that, or think about doing that. But we'll think of maybe something else in my head. You see, with him lying flat like that, it just shows you, again, as I said, in this dappled light, in the shade, it's very, very difficult to see a leopard. Often makes me think how often we drive past these animals and we don't notice them. A lovely cool breeze at the moment. You can actually see the wind is blowing quite a bit. If you have a look at the leaves on the trees and on that ivy grape that is lying under, you can see the leaves moving quite a bit. Graham, you say you refer to this male as Mr. Q. Why don't I just call him that, Mr. Q? I'll think about it. I think it's definitely better than Quarantine, that's for sure. Mr. Q, okay. Let's work with that for now. Let's see how that works. I'll try to get that into my head. Just having a look around, I wonder if the smell from the kudu, and it's actually not very strong at the moment from this carcass, but I'm just having a scan every now and then to see if a hyena might not potentially pick up on the scent of this carcass and come wandering through and having a look to see if it can scavenge some food from this leopard. However, it is in the long grass at the moment. We can't see it from where we are sitting, but it is just off to the left of us. It's in there somewhere. You can't really see it, but it is in there. That's where the carcass is, and that's one of the benefits for leopards that are hunting in the summer months with the thick bush and the long grass. It masks the scent of the animals that they have hunted, and they're able to hide their kill probably for a lot longer on the ground than they would be able to in winter, which is very interesting. And that's often why I think, in the past, I've definitely noticed a change in leopard sightings going from winter months into summer months, especially in the beginning. Now we've got all these impala lambs around and the wildebeest calves at the moment, so those young animals are easier prey for the leopards. So what happens is, usually if they do kill one of those small antelope, then they're able to hide it in the grass, and they'll hide in a thicket. And there's no need to really hoist it because the smell isn't traveling as far. So it actually works. It actually works out quite nicely for them. But then obviously as you move through summer again, you start seeing changes again. But I do think that it does play to the to the benefit of the leopards with their kills. But anyway, it's interesting. We'll see what happens. We're going to hang around for a little bit, and we'll see if anything does pitch up. But for now, we're going to sit with him while he's resting in the shade, and I think you should go over to Brent and see the mother of this beautiful leopard.
Well, Mom's hiding just at the back there. We're still with young Hosana, who's tucking into the remnants of that duiker. Isn't that absolutely stunning? Now, there's not much of this carcass left. He's really almost picking the bones clean at the moment. It's incredible how quickly a carcass disappears with 3 leopards on it. As I suppose Hosana and Xongile are nearly a year old, so at a year we suppose we can't call them cubs anymore. They are leopards. You can hear them crunching there. Quite windy this afternoon, gusting all around. And see, Karula might come in with her more developed jaws. She might break open some of those shin bones to get to the marrow. Is it a male or female duiker? I can't see. I think it's a female. Hello, Reese is wondering, are female leopards more agile tree climbers than the males? Yes, they are, Reese. It's just purely the fact that they don't weigh as much. And you can imagine a big male like the Anderson male, who weighs upward of 200 pounds, as opposed to Karula, who weighs 100 pounds. It's always going to be a lot easier for her to leap and jump up and down in a tree than it is going to be for a big male. Now, it's quite interesting. If you look just below that duiker's eye, there's a very important gland there, and in certain duiker species it can actually become almost a completely open gland, and they use that to mark territory, and also they secrete out of it. Oh, there we go. Well, Hosana's got the gland by the claw, but it is very, very important. So, especially in blue duikers, they actually, depending on the part of Africa they're in, they become very, very large glands. Oh, he's decided to move it around. Now, of course, we're going to be going into a little break shortly, but it is just so incredible that this is happening live in front of you here in Africa, coming to your home. So stay tuned and come back to join us to see what happens next, just after this. And of course, we are still practicing ad breaks. Dave, take your hand out. Take your hand out. And we are selling shampoo products or beard trimming products, Dave. So there we go. You can use whatever Dave uses. Now he's blushing. You can get some makeup to hide the blush as well. There we go. We've done our advertisement. Now let's go look at Dashing Dave's Shaving Products is what Final Control thinks it should be called. It sounds good. But anyway, let's go back to look at the lovely young Hosana. Although he has moved it a little bit, so I'm going to do the same. So someone else is just coming. I'm showing him where everything is. Ooh, this is not the best spot for us, young Hosana, making it a little bit difficult for us to see what's going on here. Let's try. hello Tanis, who's in the Great White North, Canada. And Tanis says that the leopards don't look as banged up as lions do. Do they fight less? Yes, they do. Being solitary, they don't spend nearly as much time fighting. A lion pride forget all their manners around the dinner table, and they absolutely beat the living daylights out of each other. So lions are constantly full of nicks, scars and scratches. Leopards less so. Well, it looks like, whoopsie, looks like Karula's head is up. She was completely flat for most of the time. There we go. Hello Karulskis. And just try to see if we can get a spot where we can see both Hosana and Karula. Oh, he's right in that little combretum thicket at the moment. And there's Karula. Oh, there we go. He's got hold of that duiker nicely. And Karula just patiently waiting for the young greedy guts Hosana to finish. We can actually see all three from here. Oh, Karula having a scratch. Itchy ear. And back to sleep. And then, well, her daughter is doing the exact same thing up in that jackalberry tree. She is fast asleep. You can just make her out through the leaves there. Okay, well, we're going to sit here for a little bit longer, see what the royal family gets up to. While we do that, Stef is out looking for a snack.
I'm looking for snacks, and I've managed to find some, but in a very unlikely place. I'm going to play a little bit of a game. I know Brent likes these types of things. I'm not the greatest fan of quizzes, to be quite honest with you, but nevertheless, here we go. Woody with some plant material on the side there. It has a smell to it. It smells like dung, to be honest with you. And as you can see, very little flesh on the actual seeds. See if you can decide what that is. I'll turn them around slowly. We are going to be going back into TV in a little bit, and because of that, I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet. You'll have to just wait. But you can see a little bit of flesh there, some dung, and a woody nut. Alright, I'll tell you on the other side of this. Now, welcome back from your break. You are now with Stefan Winterboer. We are still out on foot here in the middle of the Kruger National Park, and what you were looking at there were two nuts. Now, this time of year, it's special for these two. These particular two nuts come from, let's see if we can see your tree, there we go, come from that tree over there. It is the nut from a marula fruit. And where it comes from is quite a story. Impala have been living over here. The fruit has dropped out of the tree. They ate the marulas. They defecated these out. And now I'm going to do a funny thing. Inside this very woody fruit is a special treat. And I've started to excavate it for you by unleashing a little cap there. And if you just bear with me for 1 second, if I don't manage to cut a hole in my finger, we can actually undo this cap. Okay, maybe not now. We will get there, don't worry. They sometimes are quite tenacious, these caps. But the cap is there so that the baby marula can come out. Alright. Anytime now? Alright, you're going to have to give me a little bit of time. Excuse me if my tongue comes out. Okay, here we go. Maybe. No? Yet? Not yet. Come on, play with me. There's a cap here inside. Now, Shelley, you've asked me, are there any other fruits out here other than marula? There are absolutely, Shelley. This time of the year, there is much in terms of fruit out here. There's num-num, there's figs, there's marulas obviously, there's jackalberries, there's just a multitude of different ones. Now, come on, man. That wasn't to you, Shelley, don't worry. That was just my frustration at not being able to get this cap off. I wonder if it's because it's still a bit green and the cap isn't ready to come off yet. But nevertheless, what I'm going to do is, I'm quite a tenacious fellow. I'm going to carry on over here. I'll eventually find the release button. Normally it's on the outside of the fruit there where I've been scratching around. Right there is the lid's cap. And I'm actually wondering if it wasn't a bit green when this particular one was swallowed by the impala. Come now, no. You know what, I probably think it's better that you go and sit with something a little bit more interesting. Now, Tony, you said, why don't you find a rock and bash it? And Tony, that is exactly how the Shangaan do it. They find a rock, they collect them, they've got their bashing rocks, and they absolutely do. They find a rock and they hit the two together. Unfortunately, where I'm standing on top of the crest over here, I'm a bit rock poor. And so probably what I'm going to do is find myself a nice heavy zebra wood or combretum stump, and bash it open and then show you the seed on the inside before I eat it. But while I hack away at this and before I give myself an injury over here that's going to be worthy of something on TV, why don't we send you out to Brent with those leopard?
Doesn't taste very nice, does it? Now, I said we were going to do a bit of grass. We are still with the royal family. Ooh. But I said we were going to do a bit of grass as well today. Now, this is a very, very pretty grass species. The wind is being a little bit problematic. Let me just pin it down. How's that, Dave? And you can see the wonderful little flowers. Now, this is called bottle brush grass or cat's tail. And you saw me chewing on it there, and it didn't taste too nice. And it's not a very high value grass species. It's a very pretty grass species, but it's often grows on very disturbed soils. There's not much juice to it, and also, apart from not having much juice, it's got a very low leaf yield. So there's not a lot of leaves that come off there. So it doesn't offer a lot for the grazing species. But it is a very beautiful grass. Quite a nice ornament if you dry it out. Pop it in a vase. Put it on your dining room table. But back to the leopards. Karula's fast asleep, occasionally lifting her head to see what young Hosana is up to. And young Hosana is busy chewing through the nose of the duiker at the moment. Now, Lawrence is wondering, will Karula ever take the cubs hunting with her to attempt to take down a bigger prey species? Oh, Karula's up. Oh, hissing at each other. I think Karula's getting quite hungry. She probably has had very little of this carcass, leaving it for the cubs. Sorry about that, Lawrence. No, Lawrence, she will not do that. Female leopards, or leopards in general, do not hunt in pairs or groups. It is sort of counterintuitive for them. They are specifically designed to be solitary hunters and ambush predators. And quite often, if she took the cubs out hunting with her, they would actually disturb the hunt and chase away the potential prey rather than help it be successful. You can just see that slight movement, even facing her head towards the carcass, means that she's probably getting quite hungry, and I'm quite sure Hosana's had the majority share of this carcass so far. Now, Mia's wondering, how exactly do cubs learn to hunt? Well, Mia, there's a great misconception that people have about a lot of African wildlife and what they need to learn to do. There's this very human thing that we feel we need. Oh, well, I need to teach a lion cub how to hunt, which is absolute twaddle. And the same goes for a leopard cub. All the necessary equipment for hunting is ingrained in them. It's instinctive. The same as that you don't need to learn how to breathe. For them, it's exactly the same. So they will have all those things. They hone those skills by playing, by practicing, by chasing birds and squirrels and things like that. But they don't need to be taught to hunt, and neither does lion or cheetah. Although certain animals on certain prides of lions and cheetah will also, what seems to be teaching, especially with cheetah, a female will hold down a baby impala or something for the cubs to play with and learn. But again, I think it's indirect teaching. It's not a sort of purposeful plan. I'm going to go out and teach the cubs today. It just sort of happens, like what happened with Karula and Hosana and that Inyala. I think the cubs just happened to be close by when she took it down. So most animals definitely don't need to be taught to be animals by human beings. That is a very, very arrogant human being way of seeing things. And most animals, all the skills they need are instinctive, and they are born with them. Now, we're not going to move just yet, but why don't you guys let me know whether you would like me to go see if we can find anything else, go look for some elephants, maybe go do some more flowers, grass, butterflies, or would you prefer to stay with the royal family? We can always leave and come back, but you guys let me know by using the hashtag #SafariLive on Twitter whether you would prefer to stay or would you prefer to go look for some other critters or grasses and things out and about in the African bush. But for now, as I said, we're not going to go anywhere. So while you guys decide whether we should stay or whether we should go, we're incredibly spoilt because we can jump back on board with Byron and Mr. Q.
You are incredibly spoilt this afternoon. There are leopards everywhere, it looks like it. And as you know, and especially all our regular viewers, it doesn't happen often. And I'm so happy that we're able to show you so many different leopards this afternoon. And this male, he's being bothered by the flies, which I know this sounds terrible, but I'm actually a little bit happy about, because he's moving around and he's lifting his head and we're getting nice views of him, which is great. So hopefully he continues to do that. And there's some wonderful flowers in front of him. They look like comelinas. I can't really see from this distance. They look like comelinas. Those of you who have your flower books at home, if you can see a bit better than me, or than what I can, but they look like Comelina. So isn't that lovely, having this leopard with these beautiful flowers around him? There's a lot of flies around. Now, earlier, I said we couldn't see the kill from where we were. I've just repositioned, and I'd like to show you just where that kill is from the leopard. If you see where he was lying, and he's hidden it in the long grass off to our left at the moment, and there is the kudu cow that he managed to kill. A lot of flies around there. That is a lot of meat still left on that kudu by the looks of things. Oh, here we go. Sorry, his head has just popped up again. Oh, Bram, you'd like to know how often do the leopards need to hunt? Now, Bram, to be honest, and give me a second, I'm just going to reposition quickly. I'd just like to make some space for another vehicle, if you don't mind. But Bram, so what happens is the leopards only hunt when they're very opportunistic, so they'll hunt at any stage. However, what happens is if they do make a kill, for example, then like this kudu, this male leopard won't necessarily have to hunt for quite some time because there's a lot of food there. So he may feed on it for about a day or two. And if he does feed on it, and once he's finished, he won't have to hunt for another 2 or 3 days. But as I said, they're very opportunistic, Bram. So what would happen is if something comes along and he's able to hunt it, he'll definitely go ahead and hunt it. Because they never know when they are going to get their next meal. So if it's available, they will hunt. But it's not a case to say that they'll hunt every day. Now, I'm going to sit with this leopard a little bit longer because I'm so happy to see him. As I said, it's the first time I've seen him. But we're going to head back to my friend Stef on walk. And has he got a ruler with him?
My colleagues, I'm blessed. I've popped open the marula seed. So that's what it looks like. It's unfortunately empty, this one, but I have opened some others. And this is where the cap is. So let me show you. See how camouflaged it is? But if you open it just like that, you'll see where the marula seed is supposed to lie. Now this one is a 2-pip seed. You do get 3-pip seeds, and it's much the same as a 4-leaf clover. If you find a 4-pip seed, it's considered an incredible amount of good luck, and you can just see how much woody material is on that seed. A very well protected seed is a marula seed. Now and actually find a seed. Now don't forget that these seeds have come out of the digestive tract of a impala, so they have already been through a system once. I'm just finding myself a decent stick that I just want to rub. You then take off the cap there. It's got like a papery cup, and there you can see the seed on the inside. You then scoop it out. I'm just making a decent spoon. You then scoop out the seed, and you can see that the seed itself is quite almondy in texture. And also, there we go, I've got the whole seed. Took me a bit of time to get the whole thing. And taste like an almond as well. Now Tony, you've wondered what it tastes like. I'll taste this for you. Almondy. It's an incredibly oily seed, so much so that they actually get a very high quality vitamin E oil. It's smearable, this particular. I want to show you something. Now Andreen, you said it looks like stuff that comes out of your nose, which, I can't disagree with you, Andreen. But have a look, once you've smeared it, have a look how shiny my palm has gone. Very high quality oil that comes out of this. And you can use it to wax up your skin or to shine up the stocks of knives or, I don't know, wooden furniture. But it's considered, amongst the Shangaan at least anyway, it's considered a gift of quite a lot of goodwill, because it takes quite a lot of effort to actually get these seeds out of their casings. If you give your friend a a bag full of the seeds from a marula tree, it is a sign of goodwill. You're doing your friend a huge favor by doing that. So there you go. Open it up, dig it out. Of course, with a little bit more practice than I'm doing. Here we go. Right, and we've got a Hayden Turner all the way from Sydney watching us. Hello, Hayden. Great to have you with us again anyway. And this is just for you, straight out of the digestive tract of an impala. Yeah. It's quite good, actually. This one was a little bit opened and contaminated because I was bashing it with a stick. So it has got a little bit of a herby flavor to it. Not too bad at all. I'm going to try and crack out these other ones. You can have a look how hard this is. Laura, you've asked, can you eat it like peanut butter? I suppose you could, Laura. They haven't really done much with marula seed products at all. They're still in the process of sort of just getting it out of their casings, really. There you go. You can see how deep inside the... Look at that. That's how woody that shell is. Incredible, eh? And there's the rest of the nut. Pop into my mouth. It is quite good. But a very nutty flavor, if that makes any sense to anybody. Not as peanutty as a nut, but good nevertheless. Anyway, I'm going to take this one with me and give it to the ladies in FC for laughing at me. Hopefully they'll have some. Anyway, let's send you back over to Byron with those cats.
Now, Stef had a marula nut, and I feel a bit nuts because I said he's got a ruler. It just shows you sometimes if we don't hear things properly, but that's why I was a bit confused. So he had a marula and not a ruler. Maybe he could have been measuring the marula fruit, let's be honest, knowing Stef. Anyway, this male is still moving around a little bit. The head keeps popping up now and then, but the flies are definitely bothering him quite a lot. There's just something for me, and his head's up again, something for me about sitting with a male leopard like this. They're incredible animals, and I think it's also because you don't often see them. You know, we are fortunate within this area, within the Sabi Sands, in fact. The leopard viewing is very, very good, but that's taken time, and people tracking and following and trying to find these animals, spending time with them and you almost build a relationship with them, because it's a relationship of trust. So they feel comfortable with the vehicle. They know there's no threat or danger. We don't try to get too close. And if they choose to walk past the vehicle, then that's up to the leopard's choice. But through doing that, they become somewhat habituated, and they know they can comfortably carry on with their behavior with the vehicles around. But in saying that, you know, if we did have to drive straight at him, he would definitely still be a little bit frightened and move off. So that's why I say we're always very respectful and very careful when we're following leopard, and not just leopard, with all the animals out here. And that is why we're able to bring you such amazing wildlife viewing, and we are very, very fortunate. And I always tell my guests too, when they come out on safari, this is not a zoo. This area that we are in is not a zoo at all. These animals are wild, and we are privileged to be able to see them and sit with them and view them. So it really is fantastic, and I'm glad that all of you back home, are able to enjoy it with us. Now I know all of you are enjoying those beautiful purple flowers, and I'm not sure if we have been able to get an answer on them. I'm just trying to look on the screen now. Again, I'm going to stick with Commelina for now, but it looks like they're in the Commelina family. Let me know if I'm mistaken. Maisa, you suggested wild basil. Yes, you know what? It could very possibly be. Can't see the leaves now. What I'll do is I'm just going to get out and go pick one just to smell and just make sure it is the wild basil. No, I'm just joking. I'm not going to get out. I don't want to disturb the leopard. He might not think it's a great idea if I start walking over to him to pick a flower. Now, one of my friends who I actually used to work with at Londolozi back in the day, he's a tracker in this area, and he's on the other vehicle. And I just asked James if he can have a closer look at that flower and if he knows what it is, and he's confirmed it. It is wild basil. So thank you very much, James. Not James in the tent, but another James Suela. And he's been tracking for many, many years, and I actually worked with him when I was a guide and he was a tracker. So it's always nice. And the bush is a small place. You often bump into each other, again, if you've been working in the bush for a long time. A little bit of sun breaking through at the moment, but that leopard's still very well hidden in the shade. At least he is moving around. I mean, I have been in some leopard sightings, and some of you actually asked the other day about the Anderson male and if I had seen him. I can't remember who it was who asked, unfortunately. I do apologize, but he asked if I'd seen the Anderson male in one sighting. I'll never forget when we tracked the Anderson male into what was a Phoenix reclinata thicket. It's a wild date palm thicket, and he was lying inside there, and we could not see him. We caught a glimpse of his tail, and that was it. We sat there for an hour and 20 minutes waiting for the leopard to move, and he just didn't. He lay in that bush, didn't move the entire afternoon, so we actually didn't get to see him, unfortunately. We did see him a few days later, though, which was nice, but it just shows you that if they don't want to be seen, if they are hiding in a bush, they're not going to come out if they don't want to. So this is an incredible sighting of a male with his wild basil. Now, Didi, the meat will definitely spoil on that carcass after a few days. It will definitely go off, but it will go off in terms of if we wanted to eat it. Now, I definitely would not go. You could probably still actually get some fresh meat off that kudu now if you had to go through, because it was killed this morning, possibly, if you cut into it somewhere. But after a day or so, it would definitely spoil, and we wouldn't eat it. However, these predators, and leopards and lions especially, have got amazing digestive systems, much stronger than ours, and they are still able to feed on old carcasses like that. The meat, it doesn't affect them. They'll feed on it for 2 or 3 days. So the meat does go off to an extent, but they don't mind at all. That is still good food for them. It's actually just so peaceful sitting here. I don't have to say too much. It's a lovely sighting. Reese, very interesting question, and I have absolutely no idea. Reese wants to know: is a leopard's brain, or does it have a different? Or is it structurally different compared to a lion? Now, I don't know. I have no idea. Or the makeup of a leopard brain. I mean, I unfortunately have not studied the anatomy of leopards or lions very closely, so I'm not too sure. In terms of, I think, they fill a different niche in nature. Let's look at it that way. They fill a different niche in nature. The leopard are ambush predators, and they move through thickets and tend to stick in rather thick areas, but they are they also adapt very easily to various conditions and areas. That's why they're leopards all over. Now, the lions, their hunting strategy is very different to leopards in terms of they will work together as a pride, but they also ambush predators to an extent. So I think from a predatory perspective, they're very similar. So there's obviously a slight difference in the brain, but I think in terms of natural behavior and that, they are actually quite similar. And also, leopards and lions are related. They are in the Panthera family, or Panthera genus, in fact. So they are very closely related. If you look at taxonomy, so now we start going very scientific. And you've got 7 layers of taxonomy, and taxonomy is the naming of animals. So you have, basically you start at kingdom, phylum, sorry, I've got to count, otherwise I'll lose track. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. So if you have a look at all of those, the leopard and lion will be the same the whole way through. So it's like Animalia, Mammalia, eventually it gets to Felidae because they're cats, and then it comes out to genus, which genus is Panthera, and then the last little one, the last step, the species, where every little thing gets its name from the species, that's then different. Leopards are Panthera pardus, and lions are Panthera leo. So completely the same. So that actually, now that I think about it, and that's why it's nice to discuss it, you start working it out. Their brains are probably very, very similar if you look at how they are related along, in terms of taxonomy. But good question nonetheless. Okay, now I'm going to be sitting here with this leopard a little bit longer. I don't want to go anywhere just yet, to be honest. I'd like to see if he does move. Now, Stef is still on bushwalk, and he's got a grasshopper. Let's hope I got that right this time.
See if you can see not just a grasshopper, see if you can see both grasshoppers. We're going to come in a little bit slowly for you. And can you see them yet? Yes, no, look at that. Here was one moving, one on the right is very visible. Can you see the one on the left facing slightly away? Let me see if I can put my stick on top of her head. There is the head and the 2 eyes of one, and there is the other one. They're mating with one another, these 2 grasshoppers. And isn't that camouflage just absolutely incredible? Now, for grasshoppers who eat vegetation, staying hidden is the key. Oh, there, she's decided she's going to move off with the male in tow. He's busy facing us there. Hello. Oh, here we go. She's still deciding to move off. Now, for grasshoppers who eat vegetation, staying camouflaged is a necessity. Any movement, any slight movement, especially for these grasshoppers who have their niche on open patches of soil where they eat the little bit of vegetation that comes through in these open patches. Staying invisible from a couple of centimeters or a couple of feet up in the air becomes crucial. And that is exactly what they've managed to do, is stay basically invisible. Oh, that coloration of the grasshopper on the right hand side of your screen is just absolutely unbelievable. It just astounds me every single time I see these guys, just at how their shape is broken up by the different shades of colors against the backdrop, how they've almost perfectly matched their colors. to the environment that they're sitting on. It really is just phenomenal. And there you have the young male on the right hand side there. He's a little bit more boldly colored. I know he's the male because he is a little bit smaller than the female. Yeah, it does. Andreen, you've just said it looks like one with two heads. That's exactly what it looks like. Definitely. Just look at that. Female being a bit bigger and, whoa, there we go. Sorry about that. That was just coming in a little bit fast. Really just, even the eyeballs. Not that they're balls, they're made up of a bunch of different compound eyes, so it's lots. Even the eyes, which are sitting right there, even they are camouflaged. Really just an amazing creature. He looks like he's getting a bit shy on the left-hand side. Really awesome. Let's stand up a little bit and see if you can see them from how we saw them. I'll show you what it looks like, how camouflaged they actually are on this tuft of baboon's tail plant. So we came walking past this particular bush and they just moved and it was caught my eye. But they are right here. See if you can actually see them. That is about as far away as we saw them at. And just even from above, they're just absolutely incredible. With the female in the front facing you, I'm going to pick up my grass stick again. Here's where her head is, right here. And the male at the back over here. She's easily the more camouflaged of the two. And it's probably because the male uses his legs in some sort of courtship dance. In actual fact, they've got this flash coloration on the inside of their legs. They use it to scare away predators when and if they do get found. They've got these big red insides of their marks, flashes the color out, and then she then goes back into camouflage mode. So flash coloration, bird gets startled, and then they stop moving and they absolutely then stay hidden. Now Jackie, you've asked, will the female eat the male after they finish mating? Not in this particular case, Jackie. Only praying mantises and spiders do that as far as I know, and then only for young males that really don't know what they're doing, basically. And then not every time as well, and it's not every species as well, but definitely not in the grasshoppers. So yeah, they're not going to get eaten, luckily for us. Now, some of you are going to be going off for an ad break in the next couple of minutes. Please don't go anywhere. We're still with those leopards. Who knows what is going to be happening with them? Alrighty, so now for the rest of us who are not in ad breaks, we can carry on with that walk. I can see Gendre's calves, as mighty as they are, have managed to cramp up while he's been sitting in the squat position. It gives us a chance to move on over here. Where are we going? That's a good question. It's just one of these fantastically epic afternoons where it's not too hot. We could pretty much walk wherever we want to, but we have moved into an area where I haven't been for quite some time, not since it started to rain in actual fact. Oh, this is a nice grass. I quite enjoy this. This is a grass called Natal Red Top, and when it's young it has this very reddish hue to it, and it's where it gets its common name from. It doesn't have the red coloration to it now. It's now in its seed phase, even though there are still some flowers over here, but definitely not that reddish color that it does come out with. And its scientific name, Melanus repens, means like the color of ripe honey, and it has got a very honeyed, a raw honey look to it. When you get fields of this up on top of the Drakensberg escarpment, you find literally square kilometers, square miles of this grass, and is one of my favorite grasses at this particular time of the year. Melanus repens, or Natal red top grass. Let's see what else is hanging around over here. There's some terminalias. There's happening on it. Let's see if we can find something hiding in the foliage of this particular one. A good time, just Polyrhynchus. That is always a common thing with these particular kamikaze Polyrhynchus, and it's swan-dived off of, there's one here, a kamikaze Polyrhynchus, and it's swan-dived off of, here's one here. They're almost always covered in these Polyrhynchus. I know James has one that he collects in the tent from time to time. They are fantastic to eat. They taste like lemon drops. So the ant itself has got an acid in it that it uses as a type of chemical defense, and when you pop them into your mouth, they taste like little sour lemon drops, which I'm not going to do to this poor ant, not this time of the day. An old world ant, not highly evolved, doesn't have a very highly evolved culture either, but what they do like doing is thatching the entrance to their homes, and it's soil erosion. I quite like that, these particular ants. Now, why don't we send you over to Brent, who's got an update for you on what he's been up to.
Well, we've left the royal family, as you can see, and we're on search, or in search rather than on search, for a surprise. Those are old lion tracks. I can see Dave going like this. Those are very, very old lion tracks. So we're on Chitwa. I wonder what we're looking for. Now, unfortunately, they lost what we were rushing towards, so it doesn't matter, we'll just find it quickly. And I'm hoping that what was lost pops out around us here somewhere. Killers. Those little birds, and the bird species to spot leopard, because you don't generally get big groups of impala in this thick area at this time of the year. F, who's stomping around on foot.
Hold it still. Now, a little bit earlier we were asked about venomous spiders out here, and we have one of not the most venomous spiders, but definitely a spider that will give you a bit of a problem. This is a widow. I'm going to try and hold it still. This is the brown widow, so Lactrodectus geometricus. If you are looking for the name, Lactrodectus geometricus, and you can see the hourglass shape on the bottom of the abdomen over there. In this particular one, it is white, but it can be red. Can you see it? And this is the brown widow, not the black widow, but still a very potent neurotoxin. If this spider had to lash out and bite me on the finger over here now, the pain would be indescribable apparently. It runs up through your lymphatic system, and so I will get pains in my armpit if it had to bite me on my finger. And it's excruciating, I'm told. Now, if I was younger than 6 years old, or if I was older than about 75, 80, or had any heart problems, this spider could be of a big problem to me. So I'm not going to bother her too much, but let me turn her around and see if I can show you the top of her abdomen. She's one of the most beautifully colored spiders that you're going to find. Now, something that I did learn the other day was that this particular type of web, this messy web, is called a cobweb. I always thought a cobweb was a generalization for sort of all spider webs, but it's not. A cobweb is this messy web with a bunch of entanglement snares. Basically, a cobweb is a spring-loaded, has a spring-loaded tripwire. Anything walking up this particular plant, or this grass, not plant, let me try and hold this still. Anything walking up this grass would trip. No, we've lost her.
No, it's just the wind.
It's just, there's a lot of wind around over here, and so it's making it incredibly difficult for Jean-Andre to hold the shot. But let me see if we can see her from the front. I don't want to get my fingers too close to her face in case she lashes out. They're quite aggressive things. And so she has a bunch of entanglement, elasticated entanglement snares. Anything walking up this grass will trip that snare and then be basically shot up into fresh air and elevated off the plant. She will then come bite it, envenomate it. The venom kills it and liquefies the inside of it, and then she will at leisure suck the insides dry. So this is the brown widow spider. And as small as what those fangs are there, she carries enough punch to put me on my back for a couple of days. That is very awesome. I quite enjoy these types of things. You see her nicely? Let's see if we can get that red color on her front. Now that the wind has calmed down a bit. You see her back on her abdomen? She's just a very, very beautiful lady. I know she's a female because she's living in the web. Males are nomadic. You'll notice not only is that center line on her ventral side, on the top of her abdomen, beautifully colored, she also has a series of dots. And those dots, plus the hourglass on the bottom of her abdomen, is what make her the widow. Now, why they're called widows is because this particular spider is well known for eating mates. So whereas the grasshoppers, I think it was Michelle, whereas the grasshoppers, Michelle, would not eat one another, or the female wouldn't eat the male after mating, the widows absolutely do. And that's where they get their name, the widows, from, is the fact that after mating, the brown widow and the black widow actually eat the male, kill him and eat him. Isn't that a bit macabre? Horrible to be a male black widow spider, I think. Alrighty, and that's us on the black widow. Genre, don't get bitten when you come past over there. Let's carry on going. Alice, you said you love the name of the black widow spider. It is, or do you? I find one of the reasons why I told you its scientific name is I quite enjoy the fact that it has that geometricus in referral to the very geometric hourglass shape on the abdomen, on the ventral side of the abdomen, the bottom side of the abdomen. I quite enjoy that name. But widow, if you enjoy black widow as well. Oops, our backpack is busy falling to pieces. Genre got stuck in a tree, but it's okay. It's still working, which is a good thing. I quite enjoy these peanut butter plants at the moment. Arathusa, the wild foxglove. I'm going to have one. It's like a little mini peanut butter sandwich, and I'm going to give Genre one when we say goodbye. And we're going to do that right now. I'm going to send you over to Byron.
Thank you, Stef, and it's great that you're enjoying the flowers, just like our leopard is actually, the wild basil that's around him. He's moved a little bit now, he's now on the other side of the bush, but still hasn't headed back to the carcass at all. I think he was very, very full, so he'll probably just wait a little while before he goes and tries to feed again. He did glance up into this tree again, the marula next to him, just on his right. But again, I mean, that to me looks like very, very difficult, and I think very optimistic of that leopard to get that kudu carcass up that marula. You see the branches are right up at the top there, that he would be able to balance it in, but it's almost completely vertical to get it up. So I'm not sure if he will be able to get that kudu up into the marula. Look, I could be mistaken, but from what I've seen generally, I don't think so. And judging by the size of the kill at the moment, if there was a little bit less of it, then possibly, but I don't think just yet. It really is special, and as I said to you, it's just so wonderful to sit and spend time with an animal like this, especially the male leopard. I mean, animals in general, and the reason why I've stayed here so long too is because we just don't get to see big male leopards often, and I do believe in patience when watching animals, and because you never know, something could happen that is exciting that maybe we haven't seen before. We could see him climbing the tree. You never know. So patience does pay off, especially for people on safari. Still a lot of flies around, which is interesting because it is quite windy. I didn't think there would be that many, but I think it's because of the carcass. I can actually smell the carcass now. We're a little bit downwind of it. So I do get a little whiff of it every now and then. It's not too far from us. Now, a question from driving over leopards. I don't know where that name comes from, but you want to know would Mr. Q stand his ground? Would this male leopard stand his ground against hyena? Now, I have seen male leopards stand their ground against hyena a few times. They would, especially if it's one hyena. If it was 2 or 3 and they were really outnumbered, it'd probably lose some of the kill. But I've seen leopards lose the kill to a hyena. They'll come in, steal it, drag it away, and then that leopard all of a sudden comes back and grabs it away from them again if the hyenas start to scuffle. So definitely a big male like this, he would most likely oh no, he's moving right in front of me, sorry. A big male like this would definitely stand his ground. You see, just as I was saying, you never know, he could get up and move.